Hey there, so welcome to my day, or my night, my evening. It hasn't been the best of days, but there has been some pluses to it. I'm on here talking to you guys, so it's always a big plus. I did do an actual pre-order just recently that I should be receiving in December, and it's from a little company that does a lot of WTF stuff, and I'm pretty sure you know what it is because I've ordered a lot of stuff from them recently. And actually have finally I found on Amazon. I found for a good price a Jean Rollin DVD, which I was going to have coming because I'm a huge fan of Jean Rollin. I have nothing of his in my collection except for like I think it's one of the sexploitation ones from Redemption. Anyway, today is special. Uh, Rather than make like really small lists of like companies that I don't have a lot of titles of, one that I got like a few of, I decided to combine it and do like kind of a collection wants list. If you're looking in the background right now, you can probably see the Mondo Macabro uh, logo there. So that's probably going to give away one of them. And anyway, the title's going to be in the description. Uh, so tonight, with your first and only time, I'm going to give you I'm going to share my complete collections and want lists for 3 companies. That's Mondo Macabro, Grindhouse Releasing, and Twilight Time. So if you like collection videos, stay tuned. If you like talking about videos, like want videos and just like talking about films, stay tuned for that as well. And if you want to comfort me in my hour of my day of yeah, just my day of glad it's overness, welcome. And as always, roll it. So here we go, and I thought I'd start with the Mondo Macabro because it's a company that I don't have a lot of, but I really get excited when I get any of their releases. They got some great stuff. So I actually have 2 Blu-rays and 2 DVDs of Mondo Macabro. So this is the only one where DVDs are going to come into play at all. But with their company, I was excited when they put out a Blue, but a DVD from Mondo Macabro is just fine for me because they just put out such great stuff. And they were kind of a trailblazer when it came to a lot of this stuff. So it's a very short one, but first one that I ever picked up was The Mansion of Madness from the director of Alucarda. So I had to have this one. There's an interview with Del Toro on here who talks about his thoughts on the film. It's weird. It's a strange film, but it's one that I don't want to give or say too much about it. Sometimes I hate it when people say too much about a movie. Sometimes I hate it when they don't tell me enough. Mondo Macabro is a movie company where a lot of their movies you kind of don't want to give away a lot too because they can be kind of artsy at times, but they can also be what I like to call experiences. Certain movies you go into and you know what you kind of get. You know what you're getting when you're going to watch like a Marvel movie or a DC movie or something like that. These type of films are different. They're unique. They're strange. They're kind of like watching certain ones at times. You'll never need to try any drug at all because it'll all be in here. Mansion of Madness definitely fits that bill. I love, by the way, the red cases that they do here. Just pretty standard Mondo Macabro. I like the way they do that. There's a lot of companies I wouldn't like that with, but I do like the way that they do it. This is one that I watched. This was a kind of a cool, brutal watch, actually. Especially the ending. I mean, this movie was Oh wow, it was banned and was never released in the U.S. before this release here, and it's a what can I say? It was a different type of watch. I really enjoyed it. I was kind of engrossed all the way through. The ending was something to be like to definitely be watched. There's some interviews on here. I actually don't think I've listened to the interviews on here, which I should do and watch the featurette. I actually have. This is one of the cases where normally I watch the features and the movie, especially if I've seen the movie before. And Don't Deliver Us from Evil is one that I actually used to have on VHS. I really liked it. Uh, Again, it's an uncut special edition. I love the red case here as well. And I should watch the features on this because I really did like this movie. Next two are Blu-rays. As far as I know, Mondo Macabro doesn't have a lot of Blu-rays out. I could be totally wrong on that though. But I think they did mostly DVDs first, and I would like to get a good collection of Mondo Macabro DVDs. Anybody with extra Mondo Macabro DVDs, send them my way. So first up is Der Fan, or it's The Fan. There's so many movies with the name The Fan. You know, like you've got like the kind of the 80s slasher, stalker flick type thing. You got, Rob De Niro Wesley Snipes movie. And there's this. And this is very, very different from either of those. Basically, you meet this girl who, Simone, and she is obsessed with this singer. And he can be kind of a bastard, kind of a mean type of cruel type guy. Kind of like he pretty much spits girls up and chews girls up and spits them out. Pretty much with his fan base. In this movie, he meets a fan that turns the tables. The Fan is it's a slower burn of a movie, but I really, really enjoyed this film. My better half doesn't normally watch a lot of like horror films, and especially something that would go to where this one went. And I don't think I told her where this one was going before it got there. So it was kind of a journey for her too. But it's one that she really enjoyed actually. So if I can get somebody that doesn't like horror movies at all to watch it, it's that's a plus. So The Fan, or Der Fan, as I guess it's called in German, is a one hell of a film. I gotta say, I really, really, I've watched this one several times since I got it. Speaking of a movie I've seen several times, and I've had in many different iterations, but now this is the only iteration that I have it in. I'm a big Italian horror fan, and I'm a big Lucio Fulci fan. I'm a big Giallo fan. And this, A Lizard in a Woman's Skin, is one of the best. It is just an amazing Giallo all the way through. It's got a fantastic cast in here. Oh man, we got Florinda Balkans in it, Stanley Baker, Leo Gann, John Sorrell, Anita Strindberg, just incredible people working on this one here. Lucio Fulci did actually a really good job of this, and this is a disturbing sequence where he got these with kind of a dream sequence with these dogs. That's pretty like intense, but I gotta say I really did love this movie. Great special features on here as well, like some amazing things. Again, when it comes to well, again, I don't know if I said it or not, but when it comes to most of these here that Mondo Macabro puts out, they're actually region free. So both these Blu-rays I'm holding in my hand, you can actually buy any for anywhere in the world because they are region free. So Mondo Macabro calls themselves like a world cinema company, and for those there, they really are. I mean, like these two DVDs, these are NTSC, but both these Blu-rays here are region free, so definitely worth checking out. So what don't I have that I want from Mondo Macabro? Well, a hell of a lot of stuff, but I wanted to narrow it down to like a few of my faves here. So, of course, heavily on the list is, I love Christmas movies. I love Christmas horror, and I have a lot of Christmas horror films in my collection. My most recent one, of course, was Christmas Evil by Vinegar Syndrome, to go with my Christmas Evil DVD that I got from Arrow Video. So don't open till Christmas. I only have on a really, really cheap. I think it's probably even a bootleg label. It's what a horrible quality it is. So I really, really want this edition here. Uh, there's a 52-minute making of on here. Just some documentary about the producer. This is one I've wanted for like a long time. It's always been heavy on my list. Don't open till Christmas. It's on DVD, and I really don't mind. That would look amazing with the Mansion of Madness and don't tell me I forgot the name already. And don't deliver us from his right them all there. Don't deliver us from evil. Next up is a Girl in Room 2-1, and there's a neat little story with this one. I actually had this one up in my hands to buy uh, at in Ottawa. I was at this store. And they had these like they had a lot, like it was like a small, like a mall, some almost like a, not really a strip mall, but kind of like just it's one of those smaller malls that you get, almost like an outlet, kind of like it's a small mall. And in there was this like there's this bookstore, and there was a lot of different stuff in there. I used to actually go there sometimes when I was used to work up in Ottawa. I used to go there because I used to rent movies from there when renting movies was a thing. Uh, but there was this store that had like these, some were expensive, but they had like these incredible stuff. They had like some of these here, like they had but this one here's one I was going to pick up, the Girl in Room 2. I had it up in my hands, but there's kind of like a sticker thing on it. And I found out afterwards that there was a guy that was coming by, and he was a regular there. So I really can't fault him on this, although it kind of peeved me off at the time. Um, he had like 5 or 6 that he said, okay, these are the ones I want. These were the only copies of them that were there, and that was one of them. So and he couldn't sell it to me because he had some, and he did come in like 5 minutes later while I was still at the store. I wanted to kill the guy, but good taste, guy with good taste, that's for sure. And it was a really cool store. It's just like a small, like kind of a cornerish, like in a small portion of the mall. They even had like, and I kicked myself for not getting this. But if you had it for like $100, you had an, I think it's called, was it Oppo? You guys know the really big region free one that's out there. They had that, and I passed on it. Yeah, it wasn't one of my I think because I was just so pissed about the other stuff, I just ended up passing out most things from there. And I just didn't get anything, which was a shame because they had a lot of really good stuff. I think my better half picked up like a Walt Disney Treasures tin from there. It was like the one thing that we picked up, but I never did get, or I don't remember if I've seen the Girl in Room 2. Next up is Assault Jack the Ripper. Now this one is I'm pretty sure it's a Japanese one, right? Yep. It's, but I love the title, and like I said, I wanted to have some of the Nikatsu films in my collection, and the Jack the Ripper one, and there's a documentary on Pink Cinema here as well, just seems right up my alley. You know, WTF movies, and that definitely fits along the WTF movie line. Next up is one that nobody here that knows me is going to be surprised that I want this in my collection. And it's Mahakal, the Monster. Uh, Mahakal the Monster is, of course, it's like what's the Bollywood version of Nightmare on Elm Street. And also has another movie, Takana. I hope I pronounced that right. Takana the Dungeon. So it's got 2 movies. It's a double feature. Classic Bollywood movies and a documentary by Mondo Macabro on Bollywood horror, which I really, really want. Man, I really want some Mondo Macabro stuff. And last but not least, because I just wanted to narrow it down to a few, because I'm doing like 3 collections there. There is Female Prisoner Cage, which is another kind of like a Nikatsu cinema one. Where the first one's more of a Nikatsu horror, this one Nikatsu erotic, and I like, women's prison films. I like the Nikatsu genre. Jasper Sharp he's a film historian. He does the introduction on this. They got a documentary on Japanese cinema here as well. And there you go. That is some of my wants, from Mondo Macabro. I'm just trying to see if there's any other ones that are there that I missed out on. I know that there's a lot that I want from Mondo Macabro. It's just hard, like Living Dolls, another one. Girl Slaves of Morgana Le Fay. I'm not sure why I didn't mention that one, because that one I really do want. And I don't know if I own it or not. I don't think I do. Do I? The Killer Must Kill Again. Do I own that one? Or do I own that one like my cheap label? Is that one of my Shameless? I have to check. I have so many Shameless, movies over there, and that I'm pretty sure that might be one of them. If not, then I definitely want to own it. Huh. I gotta check that out. And while I do, I'll be right back because through the magic of editing, you guys won't even realize I'm gone. And when I come back, Grindhouse Releasing is next. They got some really good stuff. Grindhouse Releasing. The first movie that I bought from them would probably surprise you, because it wouldn't follow suit with a lot of the other Grindhouse Releasing ones that I've gotten here. I love Grindhouse Releasing. They will actually, their quality of their films and their packages are so good that I find myself picking up and enjoying movies that I never thought that I would, and wanting movies that I wasn't sure that I was going to want. You'll see when I talk to you about my want list. There's not a lot from Grindhouse Releasing that I want right now, but that's just because there's not a lot out there that I'm aware of. I did go to the website and I did find a few. And when I say that I want, I mean these are strong ones. These aren't like when I listed off some of the Mondo Macabros, which I seriously want. And by the way, they cost apparently anywhere from like $30 to $200 here in Canada, which is insane. There was a store that I was going to go shopping from called I think Le Bête Noire. I think it was called something like that, and it was in Montreal. So the other day, about a week or so ago, my better half and I said, okay, we're looking at some stuff to buy, and we said, well, we can't get anything right now. Well, let's look at that store. It's a really cool store, and we couldn't remember what the name of it quite was, the name of the website. So we tried to find the website. We thought we remembered, then it didn't show up. So I said, I'll put it into the search on Google, and we'll just check. And what came up was an article about the store closing down earlier this year. This was a store in Montreal. It was a famous store known for like having all kinds of this type of stuff. This type of stuff I'm showing you today, like the Mondo Macabro. What was that? I got Doors to Darkness. The Darkness, the Argento one from there. They got a lot of like different stuff and rare stuff and out of print stuff and stuff, and they had it for very, very reasonable prices. I had huge want lists that I was going to do, and I planned to do several times, but things got in the way, or I forgot, or we did something. I had huge orders that I was going to plan to make, and I read this article that not only is this place closed down, but they sold off all their movies like within this time frame and did it for like very cheap, and whoever got them was extremely lucky because they had some great stuff. They had rare out of print Criterions like the Corbos and stuff like that there which great stuff, just amazing stuff. But brings me to, they would have had that. They would have allowed the Grindhouse stuff that I really like, and I'm a huge Grindhouse fan. Sage Stallone, of course, was a part of the head, one of the head guys for this company here, and he unfortunately passed away. But Grindhouse Releasing has kept on doing work. I have heard rumors that Grindhouse plans that pretty much has a finite number of releases that they are going to do, which I hope is not the case because the quality that they put into their work, it's just bar none. And they pick movies that some of them I'm flabbergasted at that there's choices that they made, and then I say I don't want that, and they'll come out with a release that'll just blow me away, and it'll go from I don't want that movie to I really want that movie to why didn't I discover this movie the way that it was meant to be discovered before? Because they do that. They let you discover a film the way that it should be discovered. So the first up I got from them was actually very atypical to a lot of the Grindhouse Releasing ones because it's very different. and that is The Swimmer with Burt Lancaster. See, I'm a huge Burt Lancaster fan, and this is kind of a very different like film. It's not the action horror kind of stuff that you used from seeing, especially recently, from Grindhouse Releasing. Obviously, you can see it's in a normal Blu-ray case. It's got some great features on it, though. There's a 2.5-hour documentary. Let me get that to your head again. So this is a 95-minute movie. It has a 2.5-hour long documentary. I love that. And that's not the only thing. It's got the original short story. You can read it on here. The New Yorker short story. The just incredible stuff. They have a great booklet with it. And The Swimmer is a very different film. It's not for everybody. This is, I see this as more like maybe an artsy style film, a different type of character study. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Swimmer. It's what my dad has as well. So I guess in some ways we do have like a similar taste in certain films. And if you haven't seen The Swimmer, it really is worth a watch. Just something about it. I just really enjoyed it. I know it seems like a really different release, especially if you've just recently started collecting Grindhouse Releasing, or maybe if you collect certain ones and the Swimmer doesn't exactly seem like the Grindhouse Releasing type, but it is. It just it's not a horror, and in no way would I consider this a horror movie, but let's see. I guess, yeah, it makes sense. A feature-length Twilight Zone episode. And that actually makes perfect sense for it. So, next up is Corruption. As you see, just for you guys, I put on the clean cover. This is a dual cover one. You can see the girl with less. You should be resting. Okay, guys. So we have been, let's see, photobombed by Smokey. Hey, you. Huh? There we go. Smokey, let's see if you actually end up in a still. Which will look really silly because my face is not in there. Maybe I'll let Smokey do a video sometime. Yeah. Cats, it can't hurt for channels, now can it? You're adorable. Corruption is a different Peter Cushing role. He plays a more brutal character in this movie, not the normal style role for him. There's some great features in here. So there's some alternate scenes, pretty much bloody violence, nudity never before seen in America. Historic documents, interviews, audio commentary with Jonathan Rigby and David Miller, who is like Peter Cushing's biographer. Again, we have some great linear notes in here as well. It's a Blu-ray DVD combo pack, and was so excited when I got this one here. This one was not a cheap one. I think I got it like maybe like 30. At the time it was like 30 or 35, but I was doing okay, so I didn't feel so bad about it. Next up is one that a lot of people have, and I do. There's an Arrow version of it coming out in both a limited edition and a regular edition. Now the limited edition has like 1,000 copies, and it's got like a record and a puzzle, but it's more expensive. And then you got the regular copy that has a lot of different. That's pretty much all the same features as this, but doesn't include the puzzle and the record. That this one also had a puzzle actually originally, so you know what the movie is. There was quite the controversy over the puzzle and not getting into the right places, and Diabolic DVD having the majority of them, and ones being open, just all kinds of like stuff like was went out about this. It was a very controversial release, and that is Pieces. There's no two ways about it. This was a release that was fairly controversial. I love this release, by the way. Nothing about the release itself was controversial. It was just the way that the insertion of the puzzles and that was done. I didn't get a puzzle. I bought it from I got mine from Amazon, I think. Yeah, Amazon. I pre-ordered it like the day that it came out too. I was like really excited about this. I was excited to get the puzzle, but I never did get it. So yeah, it is what it is, right? It's a puzzle. The whole movie's here. It's got and this is one of the things I really love, especially some of the later Grindhouse Releasing ones, is it came with the soundtrack, and I like the soundtrack. Just really cool, just extremely well done. Great features on here. Pieces is a really cool movie. It's exactly what you think it is. That's the tagline for Pieces, and it makes perfect sense. It's got a great cast. Some of the cast from the movie Pod People is in this one. It's just such a fantastic film because just batshit crazy stuff happens. Uh, there's a Bruce Lee guy in this as well, and it makes no sense into the film other than the fact that he wanted to get this cameo in here. Uh, it is crazy. It's giallo, it's slasher, it's insane, and I love it. I've watched this one many, many times. One that was gifted to me by a good friend of mine, James, and at first we actually no, I knew I wanted it. It was on my want list actually, but when it first was announced, I was like, do I really want that? Then they started showing what was involved with it, and as I saw like 5 or 10 minutes of it on Shudder, which is if you don't, it's a streaming horror site that it's like $4.99. It's very cheap, and it gives me ideas for other movies that I want to buy. Because I don't just if I see a movie and I don't just watch the stream of the movie online, like whether it's a legal stream or not. I don't, even if I bought it. No, I don't consider that like having a movie. I think that's like renting, kind of a Netflixy type thing. I have to own the uh, the movies that I like, and I really got into this one. I had to stop myself from watching it so I could wait until I got my copy come here from James. That is, I Drink Your Blood. Uh, it's just really fun. I mean, the acting is kind of over the top. Lynn Lowry has a small role. And this is one of her first roles, if not her first role. And Lynn Lowry from guys Shivers. If you remember the movie Shivers and the scene in the pool at the end where she's my heart, it just beats a little faster when I think of Lynn Lowry. And she's still, I think today, I think she's still a beautiful woman. At least I've seen I'm on her Facebook, and still a very, very beautiful woman today. One that I really respect. I love the stuff she's done, and she has a small role in this one here, which wasn't originally in there. They actually made up the role for her. This is such an amazing release. It's got 3 films. This is like a triple feature, and this really is what you call. When you really think about it, Pieces, is definitely a Grindhouse type of film. Corruption, maybe I can see it as a Grindhouse playing type film. But this really, more than any other release that I got from Grindhouse, this epitomizes what a Grindhouse movie is. And these here would play like that. Would play in like double and triple features. This movie here, when it was brought over, when it was bought and when it was made, its title was changed. I can't remember what the original title was, but it was changed so that they could actually go with another movie that had nothing to do with the film, so they could double feature them. And it's actually on here. The other movie that was double featured with is on here. So I Drink Your Blood and I Eat Your Skin. No, really, I'm serious. It was basically, and there's trailers and all that. They're Grindhouse trailers, Come to watch. I drink your blood and stay for. I eat your skin. That's awesome. And aside from having 3 movies, because it also has Blue Sextet on here, there's plus I got to see what those other surprises are. I got to check that out. We got commentaries on here and interviews. I got an interview with Lynn Lowry, which I haven't checked out. I got to check out one with Jack Damon. Just incredible stuff. I might actually look at this one a bit more tonight. I really do like this movie a lot, and I Drink Your Blood is not something that I thought was going to be a movie that I was going to buy. I always kind of dug it a bit, but they really, really went out of their way to do an amazing edition. And just look how badass and sexy this edition is. Even the inside cover has got kind of a cool kind of if you remember the comics, the creepy and eerie comics from Warren Publications, it really does have that look to it, and I dig it, man. This is my very small, hopefully growing Grindhouse releasing collection. Now, What I want from Grindhouse? Well, they have a really great Western that I want called The Big Gun Down. Uh, I love Lee Van Cleef. I'm a huge fan of Westerns. Like the spaghetti Westerns, especially. Tomas Milan's in this one too. Uh, and it's got some great. Come on, show it. They're not going to show the features. It's like a Blu-ray, DVD, CD, because it gets of The Big Gun Down. Just some incredible stuff. The one I want most, though, and I'm not going to lie to you, is Cat in the Brain. Cat in the Brain right now is from Grindhouse Releasing. The Grindhouse Releasing edition is probably one of, if not my most wanted Blu-rays at this time. It's not just like that it's Fulci, is that it really is a great, great package about Fulci. There's a ton of like stuff in it, and it's it's a very like it's very Fulci. It's seriously a great like kind of like fun Fulci film. Uh, Not everybody's big on this one, but even if you're not the biggest fan of this, I do recommend you pick it up if you're a Fulci fan, because it is such a huge like tribute to Fulci. There's just so much greatness in this one. Cat in the Brain is definitely one that I do want. I really want the Grindhouse releasing up. It's like Cat in the Brain, I Drink Your Blood. Like they just epitomize what Grindhouse is. And there's one other. Cannibal Ferox. I'm not even a huge Cannibal fan, but do I want the Cannibal Ferox that Grindhouse Releasing put out? Oh, you're damn right I do. It's got audio commentary, linear notes, on-camera interview with Umberto Lenzi, the director. I don't know. I just love the way it's packaged, and it has one of these here like slipcover packages that I like so much. It's kind of a Grindhouse Releasing thing that I really dig. Now my next list is collection is the biggest collection of all the ones you're going to see tonight. Uh, you've already seen my Mondo Macabras, seen my Grindhouse Releasings. Now the bigger one's coming up, and also a bigger want list as well, because there's a bigger library to choose from, and this may be more of a varied want list than the other ones. That is Twilight Time. I know there's a lot of people out there that really like kind of collect their stuff, and I think of them as a holiday collectible company, because all of their stuff is kind of limited release, and that's cool. That's the way that they do it. It makes it hard for somebody like me who would have to pay like $50 or $60. Again, we get screwed. If I ever move out of here, I'm gonna save so much money on on movies, because then I'll be able to get some stuff for decent prices. I couldn't believe when I went to England, and just amazing prices they had on their films there compared to what we have, and how much it costs to get them. Twilight Times I can only get normally from Screen Archives. Now Twilight Time does have their own website now as well, which I've never tried to order from. I'm not sure what their shipping is like or anything like that. But when I come back, 'cause I got to drink some tea. Actually, got to make some tea. We're going to look at my Twilight Time collection. I got some rare ones. I got some out of print ones. And I got one heck of a want list coming right up right after this. Twilight Time. And before I get to it, I have to tell you one thing right now. I finally did it. My birthday is coming up. I knew what I wanted from my mom, and I have finally pre-ordered a Vestron video. When it's coming out, pretty close to my birthday. And it's not just a Vestron video, it's one that means a great deal to me, because the movies actually mean a great deal to me, because they're putting the Wishmaster collection. I'm a huge fan of Wishmaster. It's not only that, but it's a full circle type of deal. The first DVD that I bought for my DVD player was Artisan 2-disc, two movie like Wishmaster double feature. With the kind of with the Easter eggs on it and all that kind of stuff, and we leave it there and it would say different things, and as you wish. I love those movies. So Vestron is putting them out as a collection, all four of them. First two with the original guy, and the second two with the other guy. Uh, I enjoy both of them, and think that they are incredibly fun. Well, all four of them. I think they are incredibly fun films. I think the first two really, like, for me, were really the start of like a decent franchise, and the second two are really a direct to DVD franchise, and you can tell it. Like you can see the difference. Not that I didn't like the actor, I just preferred the first actor, and it even goes even farther back than that. When I was writing films for like a really low budget company, and they were putting out their first film, they put out like this short. Like I wrote a film, and it got cut down to I couldn't recognize it, but it was like 15 or 20 minutes long by the time they finished. They made it into a short, and they were selling it and at conventions, at horror conventions, and I think they did quite well with it. I hope nobody here, that I hear has ever seen it. But the guy Andrew Divoff that played the Wishmaster in the first two movies, he's the first picture that I got, like after it came out, and I only got like in a paper sleeve type thing, was him holding my movie, and I was really, really proud. And after I watched the movie, more than slightly embarrassed. But there you go. My first Vestron video, inshallah, is going to be Wishmaster collection, all four of them on Blu-ray. And I got to say, I'm very excited about that. But I really want the rest. Pre-ordering that made me want. I don't think there's a Vestron one out that I don't want. The Gate is coming out. Parents is a fantastic little film. Topping Mom means more to me than most people actually realize, because I actually that was one of the movies that, at a time when I was like selling films and I was looking into branching off and actually buying rights to films, that was a film that I was looking at. There's a couple films I actually looked at like securing the rights to, and just for me to have the rights to a film, and for financial reasons as well. That was still a thing before all the films were bought up by major companies, because you could films that actually went out of like went into rights gray areas. You'd be surprised. But sorry, I got distracted because finally Vestron, and it doesn't even have any features. I don't think it's just like the four movies, uh, which is too bad. But because I know that my Artisan, because I did gave up the Artisan back in the day, but I found it again. And if you've seen my video, you know I was super excited once I found it again. So yeah, the Vestron video finally. So hopefully more will come my way. Vestron. Okay, so I got a few Twilight Time to show you guys. I'm not sure which of these are out of. I know a couple of these are out of print now, and some of them aren't. I'm sure that some of these you can still. A lot of these you can still find. So first up is The Mechanic with Charles Bronson and Jemica Vincent, if I'm correct. Yeah, Jemica Vincent, Jill Arlen, of course. I'm a huge Charles Bronson fan. I love Bronson. He does some amazing stuff, and I really like the stuff that Twilight Time put out. I like The Mechanic a lot, actually. They kind of remade this movie, but this is The Mechanic. This is a real film. Not that I'm sure Jason Statham is fantastic and stuff, but it's not Bronson, man. Bronson's the guy. Bronson, just. And the thing is, like, he was an older guy when he became like an action star too, and like he was like, it wasn't just like an action star, but he had like serious dramatic chops to him. The Mechanic's a really fun film, and I really liked it. Next up is John Carpenter's Vampires. I had a lot of fun with this movie as well. I gotta say, this is a very. Now, did this one have it in there as well? Let me see. Yeah, it did. I think Twilight Time releases most of them have the booklet. This one didn't have any double covers or anything like that, but has a slim booklet in here, but kind of cool. Features I should have mentioned is the audio commentary and the isolated score track. That tends to be the the big thing with the Twilight Time. They're big on that. John Carpenter's vampires, serious film that I have a lot of fun with. I love vampire movies. My all time favorite vampire movie is here as well, by the way. That you'll see in a minute. But James Woods kicks ass, high octane film. He made two and sequels to it, but this is the one. This is the beast. Next up is Count Yorga. I like this one a lot. It is brutal too. Like the ending is brutal. A movie that's kind of strange. It kind of seems out of place at certain times because you're not quite sure, but something seems a little off. It works for the film, though. It actually really does work for the film. Count Yorga actually was supposed to be one of the ones like Dracula Sucks and stuff like that was supposed to be, one of the X-rated films. It got Robert Quarry in there, and then he started getting some real, kind of like decent actors, and they decided, well, Robert Quarry, I think, kind of decided, okay, this isn't going to be an adult film. This is actually going to be a straightforward vampire film, like a serious dark one, and it was. And it changed the way that vampire films were done at the time. Most of the vampire films at that time were gothic, and the Hammer led the way with that. But Count Yorga was a big hit, and Hammer took notice, and actually Hammer afterwards would kind of ape Count Yorga and make modern day films as well. Some say to their detriment, and I can't disagree with that actually. But Count Yorga did a good job of doing what it does. Speaking of like different style strange films, I should mention the features on these here because I feel bad that I don't. I didn't on the other ones, but still. Again, audio commentary with director writer John Carpenter. I'm a huge John Carpenter fan. Making of John Carpenter's Vampires, isolated score track. On this one here, we got isolated score audio commentary with Dave Duvall and Tim Sullivan, two great ones for that. My Dinner with Yorga, the Robert Quarry, Rue Morgan interview. A reading by Dave Duvall and Tim Sullivan. Fangirl radio tribute to Robert Quarry with Tim Sullivan. Tim Sullivan's all over this one. Stills Gallery, the MGM Archives with Stills Gallery, Tim Sullivan Archives. Really cool stuff. Next up is Scream and Scream Again. It's kind of a fun little film. I love the cover of this one here. We got like some horror icons in this one. Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing. Great cast. It's more kind of like a sci-fi-esque horror one. That's what I labeled it as anyway. As always, they got the very cool things on the inside. I really dig this movie. It's a fun film. It's not like overly. It's not a fantastic film, but there's a King Yorgo. I got to show you that because it looks gorgeous. But it's definitely a fun film. Next up is Strange Invaders. This one I really, really kind of like. And it kind of flew under the radar. Even after I saw it, let's say I was listening to isolated score and out of commentary, I didn't remember having seen it. And it's got a great cast. We got Nancy Allen in here, Paul LeMat, of course, from Puppet Master is in here as well. Michael Lerner, Louis Fletcher. So we're not talking about a small cast here. We got like a real decent ensemble, cast of some great character actors there. Strange Invaders is a really fun film. I enjoyed it. And, I think it's very much a product of its time, but I think it's like one you can sit back and have a fun watch with. Now, here's one that really goes beyond its time. It's really a great film, and that is 10 to Midnight. Yeah, we're back to Bronson again. I love my Bronson. I love 10 to Midnight. It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite Bronson film. The killer in this one is incredible, and Bronson does an amazing job. It's it's a kind of a different role. I think in this way I do find a kind of a different role for Bronson because whereas in like the Death Wish movies and other movies, he leans towards he's the killer. He's a serious killer. He has he goes after the bad guys and he slaughters them. He holds back. He's a family man. He's a dad. He's a cop, and it's building for the killer and him to have the confrontation, for him to get to that point. And will he break? Will he actually get to that point? It's a fantastic movie. I adore this film, and great actors. We got And this one here, this is by J. Lee Thomas, so you know it's a fantastic film. Andrew Stevens is in this. Gene Davis, Jeffrey Lewis is in this one here. Wilford Brimley. We got the isolated score, of course, with some effects. Auto commentary with the producer and casting director of film story, David Duvall. There's a lot of auto commentaries for Twilight Time. I'll leave my favorite. The next two are two of my favorite films, actually. They're both out of print. This one I think is the most. I guess if there's a most out of print, but you can find. I think it's like an Australian release and maybe a German release as well, and that is The Blob. Now, big Shani Smith, love Shani Smith, and this Kevin Dillon, Donovan Litch is in this. Kenny Clark. Oh, man. The effects in this movie are so good. This was done by Chuck Russell, the guy that did Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. And I think... I'm not sure, so I'm not going to say. But I think he worked on another film, a Canadian film. But The Blob is amazing. That's... In many ways, it kind of... I hate to say this, but I love the original Blob. I kind of love this one a little bit more. I like the way the characters are done. I like the fact that the characters are not, and even the Blob, I gotta say they weren't too, they're not the cookie cutter typical characters that you're gonna expect from these type of movies. The badass guys, the bad guys, aren't really so bad. The good people aren't totally good. The effects are fantastic. Love the effects in this film here. And again, we have the isolated score. We got the auto commentary with director Chuck Russell and Horror Authority Ryan Turek. Friday Night Frights at the Cine Family. A great release. Hard one to get your hands on now, but there is a Blu-ray release that was done, I think, in either Australia or Germany or maybe both. So you can get your hands on The Blob. It is definitely worth owning. And as far as I know, the features are pretty much the same. Maybe the isolated score is gone, but that will really be it. And for me, that wouldn't make the difference. This one's also at print. This one actually got pre-ordered from the company that's got it put out now. Because there's another company in the UK that just put out this movie with 3-hour-long documentary on it. Yeah, it's really, really cool. But this may be, along with Black Christmas, I just showed you guys, didn't I? I just totally blew it there. Totally. One of my favorite movies of all time. I saw this with my dad. And I've seen this. This may be one of the most watched movies that I ever had. I watched it. I studied it. I adored the film. Actually sought out Fraternification. I think I saw Fraternification first, but I didn't put the connection together, even though it's two of the lead actor and actresses in Fraternification is actually in this movie. They made this movie directly after making Fraternification together, and I'll get to that in a minute. But it is Fright Night. For real. It's a perfect horror film. The vampire genre and the kind of the whole gothic genre had pretty much been played out at this point. They'd been played for laughs. They weren't really getting any really serious vampire films out there, and anything that really didn't quite cut it. Then along came Tom Holland. Tom Holland had just come off of doing Psycho 2, which was an incredible movie. Steve Johnson, who did some of the effects on this, one of the many guys that did the effects work on this, had just come off of helping work on, kind of being like a assistant stunt guy and getting to do some stuff for the movie Ghostbusters. If you remember the scene with kind of like the ghost zombie taxi driver, that's Steve Johnson's work. He also did some work on the Librarian. The opening scene with Jennifer Runyon with the Librarian that ghost. Well, he's in he did some effects for that, and it actually makes its way into this movie here. The arms that you see in the film are actually from that. There's I'm eagerly waiting the uh, the Eureka edition of this, and because Eureka's got this better too. But this is the original 30th anniversary edition of Fright Night, Twilight Time film. Great, great features. I do commentary with director Tom Holland, Chris Sarandon, Jonathan Stark, moderated by Tim Sullivan, because Tim Sullivan seems to be their guy. I say the score track, of course. I do commentary with writer director Tom Holland, William Ragsdale, Stephen Jeffries. You're so cool. I can't do that. Nobody but Stephen Jeffries can totally do You're So Cool, Brewster. FX artist Randall Cook, moderated by journalist Jeremy Smith and filmmaker Tim Sullivan. First ever Fright Night reunion panel. Fear Fest 2 with Tom Holland, Chris Sarandon, William Ragsdale, Stephen Jeffries, Amanda Beers, Jonathan Stark, moderated by Rob Gonzalo. Shock to Drop presents Choice Cuts with Tom Holland and Ryan Turak. Vintage EPK kit, like electronic press kit, basically, with behind the scenes raw footage, and also has the video. I love the J. Gals Band video for Fright Night. This has a great soundtrack. I would love to own the soundtrack to Fright Night. One of my favorite horror soundtracks. I mean, like with actual actual horror films. Like I love a lot of horror scores, like a lot of Argento stuff, from Goblin, Claudio Simonetti, just stuff like that. But as far as like kind of this really, in so many, it knocks it out of the park in every conceivable way. Chris Sarandon is fantastic. William Ragsdale does a great job. Stephen Jeffries is amazing. Roddy McDowell is heartbreaking in sequences in this film. Him and Stephen Jeffries are heartbreaking. The last scene with Jeffries, the way that was played, amazing. The effects are still to this day are amazing. Practical effects, ones that I severely love, and I can't say enough great things about Fright Night. Fright Night is one of my favorite films of all time. I'm not going to lie to you when I say this is Fright Night. Basically, I may have decided a little differently. We're watching this with him once, and I was like, if you really think about it, Charlie Brewster's kind of the bad guy in this movie. Basically, the vampire next door, Jerry, he gives Charlie every conceivable opportunity to back away and to leave him alone. There's actually a line in the film, and to paraphrase it, where's that exact? I can't remember right now, but I'll give you something I never had, Charlie. A choice. He does. And Charlie stabs him, and that's when you get this. He gets this look on his face, and it's not pissed off look. It's oh no. It always ends this way. It's always going to be this way for me. Type of look. And oh man, Randall Cook, who worked on Lord of the Rings, he worked on this one. Richard Edlund, who worked on Ghostbusters, worked on this one here. Steven Johnson worked on this one here. So many great guys. Music by Brad Fiedel. Written and directed by Tom Holland, who did so much great stuff. Amanda Beers and Stephen Jeffries starred previously to this one in a movie called Fraternity Vacation. It's a fun film. I like it a lot, actually. And I watched it several times. It's a very 80s film. It's kind of like the early kind of like sex exploitation. It's got Tim Robbins, actually. Tim Robbins plays like the friend. He's helping his buddy win a bet. So there's these two fraternities, and they both want to bed this girl. She's a very attractive girl, and they make a bet on it. And Stephen Jeffries is the good guys, basically. And even the bad guys in Fraternity Vacation aren't really that bad. You got to see it. That they're trying to get him because he's I think, and Max Wright plays his dad. Max Wright was from Elf, Alien Life Form, the TV show. Well, basically, he plays his dad in kind of like a small role. But Stephen Jeffries' character is so cool in that one too. It's got a line in it that I can't say on here because this is basically a family channel, but he's trying to get a date with a girl that turns out to be Amanda Beers. And his technique is definitely different. Fright Night, from the beginning, it catches you, it keeps you, it entrances you. The music is amazing. Just, I can't think of a bad part to Fright Night. Just the cast, everybody in the cast is incredible. I really wish somebody knew what happened with the actress that played the mother. She's pretty much gone really into seclusion now, or at least nobody kind of knows where she's at, and which is a shame because she did a really good job in the role. Fright Night, of course, was remade. Um, it's a the Fright Night remake is a decent film for what it is, as I guess in a way it's the Fright Night 2 uh, remake, sequel, whatever. But Fright Night, this is one of my top films of all time. So guys, seriously. And I loved saying this. Welcome to Fright Night. For real. I do love saying that. Twilight Time once. Where the Sidewalk Ends. I have this one on DVD. Would love to have the Blu-ray. This one here. A great little kind of like film noir with Gene Tierney and I think Dana Andrews, right? Yeah, Dana Andrews, who did Lore together. So again, I have this one on DVD, but I would love to have the Blu-ray. This one. Craig Stevens is in this one as well. I like to say his score and under commentary because that tends to be what they go for. There's one here that I don't remember that well, but it just really intrigued me, called Passionista. Passionista, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know a lot about this film. I don't know if I've even seen this film, but it just really intrigued me. It's the type of film that it looks like the type of film that I would really enjoy. It's a different film. This one here, again, or you're just an isolated score is pretty much the only thing on here. I guess the price has seemed to be better than what I remember. At Close Range has always been a big favorite of mine. Of course, the Madonna song was amazing. Sean Penn and Christopher Walken in two just amazing roles. The fact that this is based on a true story too is intense. We have like the isolated score. We've got audio commentary on here. The Believers is one that I wanted for a long, long time. I was hoping like Arrow or someone would put it out so I could actually get it because I really like this movie. Martin Sheen, Helen Shaver, Robert Loggia, Jimmy Smith is in this one. Again, isolated score, original theatrical trailer, not a lot on it. Black Widow is one I actually really enjoyed with Deborah Winger. And who's in that? Teresa Russell. Yeah, I like Teresa Russell anyway. She was in the movie Whore, which actually is a really good movie. Dennis Hopper, Nicole Williamson, Terry O'Quinn. Isolated score, audio commentary, TV spots, original theatrical trailer. The Boston Strangler. Of course, that's Richard Fleischer directs it. He directed 10 Rillington Place. I didn't put 10 Rillington Place on this one here because there's a UK release of 10 Rillington Place, and I'm hoping that some of these here that came out from Twilight Time and companies like that are getting releases over in the UK by a company called Indicator, which I don't have any of. But my first, but I'm definitely like I don't want Happy Birthday to Me. It's one of my big ones for that one. They also put out 10 Rillington Place as well, which I also really want. But this one here, of course, is Tony Curtis. It's a famous movie, Boston Strangler. I love the way it was done. It was very uniquely shot. This one actually does have some features. We've got audio commentary, like I say, this track, split screen personality. We have Friedkin and Richard Fleischer's Boston Strangler, Real Killer Fake Nose, AMC Backstory, The Boston Strangler, Fox Movie Tone News Reel. So basically, they cut the stuff that they got off of the other release, the DVD release when they did the Blu-ray edition. Bride Wore Black is another one that I wanted, kind of a homage to Hitchcock style film. Audio commentary, a bonus CD, conversation piece, and then an unvarnished chat with Bernard Herrmann, 79 minutes. Love to have that. I actually didn't know that was on it until I just looked right now. That's actually pretty cool. We got Chicago, and yeah, it's the 1927 version of the musical, which is actually one of my favorite musicals. I actually love the musical Chicago, and I have never seen Cecil B. DeMille original Chicago. I love to own this movie here. 190 minutes long. We got like a documentary, a special documentary on here, feature produced by the March of Time for with authentic footage of the era. Uh, the Flapper story, several self-declared children of the Roaring Twenties, look back across the decades at their youthful lives. 20-page booklet. That one I really would love to have. Chicago's my style. Chaplin at Keystone, that one's actually a DVD. I wouldn't mind having that one. It's actually one of the more expensive ones, and he do have some more expensive stuff, but that one's fairly expensive. It's got like it's a big one. Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, that's a favorite of mine. It's always been a favorite of mine actually. I think I might have. No, I don't even think I've got a DVD. I thought I had a DVD of it, but I'm not sure. Uh, Joseph Cotton is in this one here, and I'm a huge Joseph Cotton fan. If you've been watching my channel for a while, then you know my favorite Hitchcock movie. It is Shadow of a Doubt with Teresa Wright and Joseph Cotton. Joseph Cotton plays Uncle Charlie. He does an amazing job. It was one of the roles that really I got fixated on and just studied, like severely studied when I was when I was training for acting. I wanted to be an actor. There were roles that I looked at. There were scenes and there were actors that I really drew to. John Travolta's role in Saturday Night Fever, actually. Rocky. There's some great monologues in that I used to use for acting class, and the way Joseph Cotton did is such an incredible job with Uncle Charlie, and it's my favorite Hitchcock villain. And you know, there's Norman Bates, and there's the guy from Strangers on a Train. There's a lot of really great Hitchcock villains, but I just really, really like that one. And Joseph Cotton's in this one. We got Agnes Moorehead, Olivia de Havilland's in here, Betty Davis, the great Betty Davis. You guys know I love Betty Davis. Is in this one as well. And Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, I might love just a little bit more than Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. I know, sacrilege. I love both those movies, but I actually love Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte just a tiny bit more. U-Turn. What can I say? A lot of people don't like it. It's a crazy ass film. I really dug U-Turn. I really like the movie. You know, it's got like, you know, we have a score, but you know Marconi on here. So I say the score track's gonna be incredible for this one. Oliver Stone introduces U-Turn. Commentary with Stone. Out of commentary with the producer. Definitely one that I love. Mind Warp. That one's like, yeah, I wouldn't mind having it. It's like a Bruce Campbell, Angus Scrimm. Angus Scrimm's passed on right now. Rest in peace. It was a Fangoria Films one. I remember seeing it back in the VHS days, but haven't seen it since. And really for my better half, because it's one of her favorite films of all time. And one of these days I got to find it for her, and that's Absolute Beginners. We have like 2 or 3 different versions or copies of that on DVD. But and David Bowie's one of his favorite singers of all time. When she was young, actually, and she was very young, she was with her at her uncle's, who was at the time living in New York, in Manhattan, I think. So she was going up in the elevator, and she froze. And is not a person to mince words or not have something to say, but standing in the elevator with him at the time was David Bowie and Iman, the girl he was with. Yeah, I can see why she froze. He just has this presence, and Iman too. Into that right then at that time, Iman was probably one of, if not the most beautiful women she had ever seen in her entire life, and believe me, that's no small feat for him to say. She really impressed her. she carried herself with a certain like class and certain poise that was that really stuck with him. He felt bad that she never got to actually say anything to Bowie, but she was only young and she was starstruck. This was her singer, her favorite. She was very affected when he passed away, and at least you could say she was in his presence. She met him. That's actually pretty cool, and not like in the convention or anything, which are awesome. Like, because I go to conventions, I meet people, but she actually just had happenstance, just that he was staying in the same hotel that she was staying in, and yeah, that's my story behind Absolute Beginners. When I got out to St. John's, I was at Sears, and Sears used to have a lot of movies back then, and I found Absolute Beginners. I couldn't believe it. I was so excited, and I bought it for her because I knew she talked about it so much. As far as the musicals go, this is one of her favorite musicals of all time. She loves Bowie. She loved Absolute Beginners. She just thinks it's like so underrated. So yeah, definitely Absolute Beginners for Twilight Time. It's one that'll get my better half sometime. So there you go. Twilight Time, Grindhouse Releasing, Mondo Macabro. I think we've done pretty good tonight. I also announced the very first Vestron video that hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm going to be getting. So thank you guys so much for watching. I made that tea, but I haven't drank it. It deserves to be drank. I deserve to drink it. I am Aaron, the movie prof, the lover of films. Even when my day's really crappy, this can lift me and my spirits so much. And these films really do. Actually, I've recently been able to speak with a good friend of mine from Germany. We're doing a trade, actually. It's actually getting me a cool steelbook that I'm very excited about. I'm not going to mention what it is. It's a very fun, cheesy movie that just speaks to my taste, actually. But it's a beautiful steelbook too, and I think it's a German exclusive. So incredible stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. But it's really nice. I really like that about being on here, that I get to actually speak and talk to people, and talk to meet friends, people that comment on here, people that make videos, and just be able to talk back and forth. I mean, like guys like Opie on here, and Todd, guys like like Sammy, and Dean at DVD, great guy. Does some amazing stuff, by the way. Just so many. I'll do a share video sometime soon. Kind of list everybody and stuff. But again, my voice is going, so thank you guys for watching. I've had a blast. You guys help make my night. Have a good one, guys. Because for me right now, if you can't tell, it is seriously, wait for it, time for tea. Hey there, so this is your first time through this rodeo. You're obviously staying for the after credit sequence. Thank you for doing that, by the way. I actually really appreciate it. If you've gone this far, then I hope that the like, share, and subscribe thing is something that I don't need to ask at this point, and that hopefully you do it. And feel free to share this anywhere, like different sites or Twitter, anything. It would be nice to see this, see if anybody out there is that I haven't really reached as kind of into the same films that I am. So remember that story I told you about, the La Bête Noire. So hope I got the name right. This is one of the things about from them. I mentioned it here actually. I'm a huge Argento fan. A huge Argento fan. I'm not gonna lie. And this is a kind of a TV one that he did called. No, it's not Do You Like Hitchcock. It is Door into Darkness. This is by Maya, so it's probably pretty out of print by now. The first episode, The Neighbor, is actually directed by Lucio Cosi. The second one is the only one that's actually directed by Argento, called The Tram. The third one is by Roberto Pariante. That one's actually written by Argento and Lucio Cozzi, called Eyewitness. And the fourth one, The Doll, is directed by Mario Fagliati. And there's an extra here. Actually, and it's the, I think I've got this on another thing as well. Yeah, that's Poet Noir. See, you can actually see the company name there. It's Dario Argento's Master of Horror, 83-minute long documentary on Argento, directed by Lucio Cozzi, which I haven't watched in a long time. I really got to watch that and rewatch this. Door into Darkness, really cool. I thought I'd put a couple more in there. So one of my only real trailer tapes that I got, and I used to have a lot when I had my VHS collection. I mean, I had a series of trailer tapes. Now I think this is it. And it's one that from England, from Nucleus actually, and that is Grindhouse Trailer Classics. I'm not sure, is there volumes on this one? It doesn't say volume, but this one came out in 2007. 55 great trailers. I've actually watched this one a few times. It's got a bonus feature at Bump and Grind. Emily Booth explores the world of Grindhouse cinema, gallery of Grindhouse posters, 120 minutes plus featurette. So there's, of course, the beautiful Emily Booth right there. It's not kind of very clear, but I apologize for that. But still, it's really cool. It's good to put on, just like when you want to sit back or when you know there's some movies coming out that are on this. So, like a bunch of 60s and 70s movies. Really cool stuff they show. Ilse on the back, Barry, Me and Angel, Eyeball, House of Whipcord, Big Dollhouse. So, yeah, just a ton of really great stuff. There's more of these out there, actually. These got to be really expensive. When I bought this one is actually on super cheap. And that's how I got it. It was one of my very first releases from that I bought from the Amazon.co.uk store. Prom Night. Very proud of this release, actually. Now, there's another release that came out that actually, the collection, that actually includes the remake with really cool cover art. You know, at the time I had the remake, and I'd already had the set, and there's only one copy of it there. And my cousin doesn't like a lot of horror, but he does collect a lot of like 80s films and stuff like that. So I ended up buying him the set. It's a very like hard to get set now. Like it's one that a lot of people strive for. Actually, both of these are really. This is the Prom Night collection. I'm a really big fan of the Prom Night series. You guys know because you've seen the amount of editions of Prom Night that I got. Oh, this one's slipping out here. Gotta get this put back in. Because I'm a huge fan of the series. So it's got Prom Night 1, Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 3, The Last Kiss, and Prom Night 4, I think it's Deliver Us from Evil, it's called. I actually really like Prom Night 4. It doesn't get like much talk. I like Hello Mary Lou does, and Prom Night 3 does because it's kind of almost like it's kind of cheesy fun, and for some people kind of like it's so bad it's good type of thing. But I really like kind of like the slasher aspect, and it's so comical in Prom Night 4. They actually pretty much just like the middle finger to the whole Prom Night thing, where they're like just, well, we're going to prom, and they just drive right by their prom and go to a house and pretty much have like a house party type thing to get together. These two couples do. And that one here is about this like this crazy priest that's actually been locked away for years, and he thinks Father Jones or something. He escapes, and he stalks these kids that are sinning. They are sinners, hateful sinners. But there you go, guys. 3 movies that I really like. Re-release I like that I don't get show off because they don't really go on with any other collections. I don't have any Maya films except for Door into Darkness. I wish I did. I actually had planned to buy a bunch of these because he had a bunch of them, and they're kind of out of print right now, so they're hard to find. If I find one, I'll definitely pick it up. I like Maya releases. Nucleus's Grindhouse Trailer Classics. Love that. And of course, near and dear to my heart, Exploitation Horror, prom night. And just because I like saying it so much, welcome to Twilight Night. For real. Hey, I just like rolling the R's. That's why I roll up the rim to win time is so amazing here in Canada. Thank you guys so much for watching. I have had a great time with you all. And for me right now, you know what time it is. Yep. It's time for tea.